Hey, this is Stocks Pilgrim, and today we are going to be doing a trade review for SPY. Today's date, if you're watching this from the future, is December 13th, 2021. And if you're watching this from the future, I assume everything is fine because you're on YouTube. But just understand that this was a big concern for a lot of people, thinking that this was the start of maybe a bubble popping, which economically speaking doesn't make sense. But um, overall, this gave us a lot of opportunities, right? S&P 500 can be very volatile. And if you remember this move here after Thanksgiving, like these few candles down, we eventually found support. And I wanted to find a way to be prepared to trade to the downside, but also trade it up. So we're going to look at a few different days and a couple of different trades. I posted this particular chart, actually, I posted it on Friday. Make sure, yep. So this was on Friday, which is pretty cool because I posted it in the morning and everyone had, I mean, even on Twitter, you probably saw me post this chart, had a very clear set of instructions as long as you're able to manage the trade and, follow along and learn a couple of key things. So number one, 470 was the area, right? So this is going to be Thursday. We knew that we were coming out of some lower volume days and the selling was even lower volume here. So I knew we had an opportunity both to trade to a particular target here and trade, to the upside this direction. And that's exactly what happened. So I took two trades, one to the upside, one to the downside. I think it's a reverse order. I traded down first, then up. So day began here, or the day ended technically here is the close. And the opening price of a green candle, as you might know, is here. So as it began to show some weakness and we started to head this direction, I know some people took this trade a little early because we were not heading to that area. And I think that's what everyone was waiting for, was to break this 470 that had been resistance for quite some time. And it didn't happen. So you could have taken the trade here. Would have been a little early to jump the gun. You could have even taken this pivot here and would have broken through this level. This was my trigger. I took the trade short. It was 0 DTE SPY put options. And I was targeting this area right here, and maybe even this area would be great, but we didn't get that. So we had to move from 468.25 roughly. I think I might have jumped the gun just a little bit. I don't usually recommend that, but the market was weak. The patterns were weak. The names that usually prop SPY up were definitely seeing some resistance at the time. I felt like it was a great trigger. Took the trade, and this actually ended up being, and I exited here. I'll dive in a little bit more closely here in a second, but this ended up being 100% gainer, right? Like this was 100% win. So, and I mean 100% as in gained 100%, not like I 100% as in for sure gained, but I did. So the break below this level set the trigger. I said, okay, the market is definitely a little weaker here. Took the trade short and closed out once I noticed it start to reverse on me there. And in the process of that, as it made its move up, we broke through what was some pretty decent resistance at the time. And as we made our move into that supply, although I had this as a particular trigger to get through, same thing. Once we cleared this region, once we cleared through this candle, even though it's not an actual pivot, the high is, I still took the trade, able to manage it, and we broke through that resistance and eventually touched what ultimately was the high of the day, which was also our long trigger before approaching the all-time high. Now, you know that we didn't quite get there, and that hasn't happened yet, but just for verification, yes, he put options right there, and I'm not sure where in here. I had call options also. You see how quickly that made a move. 0 DTE is not it's not anything to play with. I thought I posted the others, but yeah. Anyway, it was a very nice trade. So that takes us to instead of Weeble, let's go to TrendSpider. So here's where we are now. Now, it doesn't really matter. This doesn't matter so much because we're not reviewing that. We want to review this day specifically. So I'm actually going to go ahead and draw some cool lines here. And let's go into the hourly chart. The hourly chart is going to show us, boy, look at that rising wedge breakdown. Here we are on Friday. And what I'd like to do is go to let's call it the 15-minute chart, and let's have a look. So here's what that day looked like. Now, if I were to put the annotations back on, it's actually going to be adjusted because I'm reviewing pretty much everything from, actually, no, it's fine. Never mind. I'm reviewing everything from Friday instead of today. So I had to turn those drawings off for you. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so the way the trade worked, like I said, at the very beginning, a complete miss, right? Like usually you want to see a stronger move right off the open because we had gapped up. We knew that we were in a crucial area to get above the current support or the current supply. I mean, and if you want to go to the daily and just have a look at what I'm referring to, remember I'm talking about this day, right? So the way we started off, we were just trying to break above this. This was the pivot, this area right here, right? We wanted to break above that and make a move forward so we could approach this target, this pivot. Because that didn't happen, a lot of traders went short pretty much immediately, which, as I said before, if you're trading 0 DTE is really dangerous. I waited for confirmation in the volume right here. And once we made this second candle here, same thing. It attempted to reach up. It could not do it. I said, okay, we might have something. I still waited. I was patient. Next candle, right? Next candle we opened here. Same thing. Third, this is a 15-minute chart. So over 45 minutes, you've made 3 lower highs. So that's the first sign of weakness. We ended up with a shooter candle here, or an inverse hammer, technically coming out of the downtrend. And I saw a little volume perk up. I said, all right, this is not the time to go short. I want to be a little more patient. And bam, pretty strong candle. But I noticed something. On this 15-minute chart, there was much lower volume even here. This was definitely the bull's time to make a move. And I've always said this. If you're in my group, you've heard me say this many times, that those low volume reversals and pullbacks, they just absolutely, they tank. They go right back to where they belong. I think is exactly what I said in the Telegram. I think if I were to scroll up, you'd probably find me say that somewhere in there. I also noticed there was a double inside bar. We're going to talk about that too as well. So, but yeah, so, the put options that I had, the Apple Microsoft push that happened that day, I think that was really money rotating out of SPY into those names because they got a very quick pump that I think it was very ill-advised to take that trade. No offense if you took that trade. But I always make sure to people in my group, I've said many times, like, you don't have to take this trade. But I knew exactly what I was looking for. 466.54. And when it made a little bounce, I said, low volume bounce here, not convinced. Premium burns fast. So we needed to be right. And we needed to be right sooner than later, right? Because those contracts are going to start burning up. So this is how it played out. So my trigger short, when I said going for 466.65, if we were to go back to the charts that I posted here, let me see if I can find it again. Or I'm not sure what the price was that I said right there in the chat. Let's just make sure so we can be accurate. Okay, so that was one of the spots. And yeah, 466.54. Okay, 466.54. And I think my reasoning behind that was, I had already set that pivot from the night before, right? So we kind of knew that this was an area that actually wasn't even the night before. I mean, I'm pretty sure this was a couple of days before I had this as a lower level. Because if you look at those other charts that I just showed you from the rest of the week or earlier in the week, I already had these levels set, right? We were already watching these levels all week. So I knew that if this was going to make a trade to the downside, we pretty much wanted to look at this as a bounce area or a potential target. So this level worked for us the entire week, and you can see that happen actually. So I took the trade short, and as it was approaching this level, I was pretty happy about it, right? A great opportunity to take profit. I didn't. I waited because I wanted to see what the bull's response was going to be to a move like that. And of course, low volume, just could not hack it. There was nothing that could be done. So same thing. Made another move south, and that's when I made that post about not convinced. And once I saw this start to creep up a little bit on some smaller time frames, if you go look at it, you'll notice there's a little bit of a bullish sequence building on a smaller time frames, like on a 5-minute. So I said, all right, this is probably about as good as it gets. So made a move over here. Once I saw that rotation, I said, yep, I'm out of here. So that's where we ended up with that 100% winner. And if you had traded it shorter sooner than me, or traded it short sooner than me, yeah, you might have made more. Also, you didn't really have any confirmation on the short trade, so always want to be careful of that. But then we did something pretty cool, and I think this is the reason I chose this today. I really wanted to make sure that you guys also know that it is possible to trade to both sides on the same day. You don't have to sit there and just let the trade go against you. You know, you can join in the correct side if you know what you're doing. That's what we're here to practice. So 134, I went long on this trade, 470 call, and I post my trades in real time. I'm not sure, you know, if that was like a 30-second delay, whatever, but I can assure you, whatever time we see on the chart, that or right up there, I posted it at that time. I keep clicking Webull. Goodness. All right, so 134, and let's look at the times down here just so we know exactly, you know, what the strategy was. So here we go. So for me, I was definitely looking for just a scalp opportunity. Now, the reason I didn't take the trade right here off the reversal is because this could have been another fake out, right? And the volume was terrible. Now we're on a 15-minute chart. On a 5-minute chart, this is going to look a little different, but you would start to see the volume stair step start to increase. And that was my first cue right there. That was the first signal. So once I saw that, or once I saw it right here, I realized, okay, I'm going to start monitoring SPY's action. And the downtrend had been broken. This was great. Notice how I haven't drawn any lines right now. Didn't need to draw any lines. No trend lines, anything, simply off of the levels that I have been watching and have been working from pretty much the entire time. And I even walked everyone, through these trades like this here, for instance, And by the way, that 466.53 is 1 penny away from the level that I had it marked at. Look where it bounced. How crazy is that? Like, technically, you could say this is the bounce, but I nailed it to the penny on the bounce spot. 466.63 or 466.53 right there. And then you can see the chart that everyone had been working from as well. It's not this one. Oh, this is hood. Let me make sure I find the correct SPY chart. Here we go. 466.56 is here. Where's the other chart? You see how many charts I post? I have to go through all of this stuff and try to find it. Wait a minute. Okay, 466.56. So 2 cents. Not too bad for being in the future. And I feel like I adjusted this chart somewhere throughout the day. I post updates to the chart all the time. And here's 466.60. 466.54, like I said, to the penny. Sorry, I get excited sometimes because to be able to do that 24 hours ahead of that happening, actually, it's more than 24 hours. We had this level several days in advance. So to have those levels multiple days in advance, trust me, you learn to do this, you're not going to have to spend your time chasing anything, following anybody into any trades. That's the whole point of this. So regardless, I had a nice opportunity. We saw me take that trade somewhere in this range. I noticed there was a switch to the bullish increase. If I went to the 5-minute chart, you would notice this volume start to increase a little bit. Eventually, bulls took control, of the day, but lost the price action here. That's okay. I'd already taken my position. I knew what my stop was, or I knew what my levels were going to be, which is basically based around the volume shelves. So it had a quick pullback, and this was a real quick shakeout. And I don't know how many trading books you guys have read, but you probably understand before bigger moves, you'll get that quick tap, that quick move that says it stops out a lot of bulls. It will take out a lot of stop losses. Just a real quick move, real quick shift. But, there was no serious technical level lost here. That's a risk I was willing to accept. I had multiple reasons for believing this was going to be a stronger trade, especially if you look in this downtrend here, the volume was decreasing. I won't even call that a downtrend. This is just a pullback. Technically speaking, this is a bull flag. This little pullback here, even though it retraced some of the move, didn't really retrace it, right? Even the closing price right here, if you look at it, is 468.65. And if you compare this to this bull candle here in this 15 minutes, even this candle right here, 468.09. I mean, I don't think there was anything to really be concerned about, especially after seeing these kinds of candles and the rally that we had, right? So anyway, know when bulls have switched up, when the bulls have taken control of the day. Very important. Had that quick pullback. Even here, if you go and look into, I think in the the comments. I'm showing you guys that I'm not doing this after the fact. I'm posting this stuff in real time and just analyzing it, right? You're not going to be right all the time. It's impossible. But you will be able to build some conviction, not based on what someone's telling you, not based on what uh, what you think is going to happen, but based on technical levels, like actual information to work with, to work from, right? So yeah, here it is. Somewhere in here, 229. I said SPY is about to rip at 229. Let's see if I can find that. So 230. Look at this. Seeing this flag, I posted that right the day. It looked like I might have been wrong there for a second, but I had enough reason to believe this was the case. So got a little pullback. Bam, first candle. Said, okay, SPY's getting ready to go for it again. Made this move up. And the rest is history. And it actually hovered around here for a second because this was supply. Right? You can see those wicks there. And what do we get after? Pop. You gotta love it. And then even then, nice continuation. So this trade actually ended up being a 50% win just in that short amount of time, right? And all you had to do was be patient, know your levels. All the time that I've put in learning trading and putting this into practice allowed me to go in and make charts and be able to. These are not really predictions. Watch this. Oh, did it really not put everything out there? Okay, cool. I didn't want to clutter the chart. But it's not about making predictions. It's about understanding probability, accepting the risk, knowing your levels so that you can actually, accurately define your risk and go from there. And this is what that looked like on the larger time frame. Like I said, we had this very strong move that day. And these levels I've updated today on Monday. But this is what it looked like. Once again, just as a real quick recap, right? We had the move over here from the close, a little gap up, but not a gap above our technical level. Took the trade short when it made sense, which I think at the time was there. Took the trade here, or maybe even the trade here. I don't remember which level I had drawn on that previous chart, but took the trade there. Saw that we were getting close to a potential target. Decided I wanted to start scaling out potentially. As it began to reverse, I said, okay, I'm out. Once we got through the trigger, took the trade back to the upside and had a very nice day. Closed right here, bam. Hammer candle on the daily chart, and as you can see, today was a little different, but we also traded Apple short today. We traded what else did I trade to the downside? There was something else, I don't even remember, but all in all, there is no reason. Oh, by the way, it was AMD. Traded AMD to the downside, but there's no reason for anyone to get stuck and feeling like you're a victim to the market or the market's moving away that you can't trade. Develop the skills to trade, develop the skills to learn your levels. This is all stuff I teach. This is all stuff that I constantly go over in the group. I update charts every night. So if you want to join, go to my website, stockspilgrim.com. If you're watching this and you're in the group, you guys know everything I'm saying. It's true, and it happened exactly like this. So hopefully everyone can get to that level of confidence as well. And I look forward to being able to post more of these sometime in the future. They'll be in the Discord going forward. Take care, guys.